The 514 Am Pro Yamaha ride of Stu Baylor is coming off his third win in a row. Can he keep the wins coming, or will someone else top the podium in Crawfordsville, Indiana for the Hoosier GNCC? GNCC on MAVTV starts now.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to the sixth round of the 2021 GNCC racing season, presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We're here for the Hoosier GNCC in my hometown, Crawfordsville, Indiana. I'm Mikey Waynes. I'll be taking you through today's racing action. Of course, we'll start things off with our Specialized race recap. Round number 5, action-packed. Snagging the whole shot. In the early lead, it was the 989 Rockstar Husqvarna of Thad Duvall. As the race wore on, it was the 212 Coastal Racing Factory Gas rider Ricky Russell finding himself out front, leading the 514 of Stu Baylor, who trailed behind in second place. Now, Ricky Russell, fantastic ride for him. Ended the day in second place as Stu Baylor was able to eventually work his way around Ricky Russell into the number 1 spot. But boy, Ricky did not make it easy for Stu Baylor early in this one. Great to see Ricky Russell having such a solid day. You know he wants that win, but hey, coming up a little short, that's okay. It's still a move in the right direction for Ricky Russell. That man right there, though, can anyone stop him? Stu Baylor ended up finding his way out front. Some good sportsmanship right there from the Yamaha team right there, pointing the same line for Ricky Russell as he did for Stu Baylor. Tough break for Josh Strang as he found himself in the pits, not where he wanted to be mid-race in that one. But boy, talk about a man on a mission. As you guys know by now, not the best start of the season for Stu Baylor. Didn't race round 1, struggled in race number 2. And since then, man, it's been the Stu Baylor show, finding himself out front and clicking off 3 wins in a row, looking for 4 here today. Ben Kelly, good ride out of him. Ben, though, wants those wins as well. And every time this guy right here, Stu Baylor, clicks off another win, he's chipping away at that lead. And can Stu Baylor make it happen here today for a 4th time in Indiana?
Yeah, you know, it was good early on. I got a decent jump off the start. I think I came into a couple guys. My back end, I could feel it sliding. I don't know who I caught, but I'm sure somebody went down in that first turn. But yeah, I tried to make as many passes as I could, as fast as I could, and we put ourselves in a really good position early on right there with Ricky, and the pace was just wicked fast that first lap, and Ricky and I were able to get a pretty good gap on those guys. I could close up on him in the wet stuff, and in the dry stuff, you could tell like he was just riding his race and slowing down there because he knew I couldn't catch up, and I was doing the same thing. So we were sprinting where we could and holding back where we could and gapped the guys, and saw that Ben got in third there mid-race, and you know, I was waiting for him to catch us. I saw he gained some time there in the middle, and then Ricky started gaining on me, and I knew it was time to drop the hammer in those last 2.
Well, congratulations to Ricky Russell on the day, as we talked about in the recap there. Solid ride for him. Led a lot of that race. Ended up the day on second. It's a move in the right direction if you're Ricky Russell. And, of course, Ben Kelly rounding out that top 3. Well, we fast forward to today, and we'll see if Stu Baylor, can he make it 4 in a row, or is somebody going to knock him off that center of the box position? XC1 off and rolling, battling for the All Balls Whole Shot Award. And it is going to be, looks like, the number 3. That is the Magna 1 Motorsports Husky of Jordan Ashburn, grabbing the All Balls Whole Shot and the early lead with a slew of riders behind him, including Thad Duvall, Stu Baylor, and Lane Michael. Baylor now out in front as we get into the woods. I believe that is Lane Michael. It is Lane Michael in the number 2 spot. So Ashburn, at least for the moment, falls to that number 3 spot. Solid start for our Am Pro Yamaha riders, sitting 1 and 2 right now. So, it's a good day to be on blue, at least early in this one. We'll take a look at the XC2 250 Pro class now. Whole Shot Award up for grabs, courtesy of Hot Cams. Who wants it in the XC2? Oh, that was the number 25 Husky of Ben Nelko stealing the hot cams hole shot and the early lead. That was Chris Vendetti and Thorne Devlin right behind him, battling for that number 2 position, battling for that lead more like. Boy, good start for Ben Nelko. Best finish on the season for him in 8th place back in round number 2 down in Florida. So honestly, that's a pretty solid finish given how deep the talent runs in that XC2 class. And finally, the FMF XC3, the 125 Pro-Am class. Who's going to get it? That is the 332 Yamaha of Noah Clark snagging the hole shot and early lead. Chase Colville, the guy we call the hole shot machine, battling right there with Max Fernandez behind him in the number 2 spot for the moment. So the 125s now make their way into the woods here at Ironman Raceway, the Shaver family farm, if you will. And man, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but nothing sounds as cool as those 125s ripping through the woods. Back out front with our leader, Stu Baylor. In the lead, his teammate Lane Michael in the number 2 spot. And can Stu Baylor make it 4 wins in a row? GNCC on MAVTV returns after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Ryan Sipes and Travis Pastrana joined GNCC over the weekend, racing in the morning race, generating a little added fun for the fans out there. They will be joined by Corey Steed and Becca Sheets, 2 of our women's pro class riders out of the WXC. In the coming week, they'll be joining the fellas as well as the rest of the Nitro Circus crew for a little pit bike fun coming up at Kevin Wyndham's place. So going to be pretty cool. Back out front, and it is Stu Baylor and Lane Michael running first and second. Jordan Ashburn remains in that number 3 spot. A little bit of a gap there between second and third place, but Ashburn certainly still within striking distance in this one. Ben Kelly back in the number 5 position currently. So Ben Kelly, the number 530 machine, a little bit of time to make up. And of course, Josh Strang right on his heels. And here comes Baylor and Lane Michael across the creek right here. And Baylor goes down. Can Lane Michael get around him? He can. So Baylor quick back on the machine, able to maintain that number 2 position. Ashburn slipping and sliding right there as well. Ashburn remains in that number 3 spot. So, little mistake there by Stu Baylor. And look at this. Now, Lane Michael out in front. Ashburn able to get around Stu Baylor. So, there's another change. So, Baylor goes from first to third place right here. But, boy, he is on the throttle. Don't count the man out just yet. Matter of fact, that looks like him right there in the back into the number 2 spot. But, Lane Michael getting squirrely right there. This one is a slick race course, this Hoosier GNCC at these creek crossings. So there you go. Lane Michael now out in front. Stu Baylor falls to the number 2 spot, or I should say moves back into the number 2 spot. And Ashburn still sitting in third place. Ricky Russell right there in the number 4 spot. And Ben Kelly. Boy, he's had a tough day. He's really had to battle with these guys back here. We'll see if he's got something in store for him as this race wears on. Stu Baylor now out in front. Boy, don't blink. These guys, make no mistake, yeah, they're teammates, but Lane Michael wants a win as bad as Stu Baylor does. So don't think for 1 second one guy wants to let up on the other one and say, yeah, you go ahead, you grab the win. No, look for these guys to battle as this race wears on. No doubt about that. So Stu Baylor out in front. There he is, a teammate, the number 523 of Lane Michael on the M-Pro Yamaha behind him in the number 2 position. This is going to be interesting here. We're going to get to that point where they're going to have to pit. They're going to be close enough. If they maintain this pace, they might actually be rolling into that pit, that M-Pro Yamaha pit, at the exact same time. And boy, it is going to be all hands on deck if that is the case. We'll see how pit strategy plays out for them. But boy, right now, Baylor and Lane Michael putting on a clinic. These 2 guys absolutely ripping right there. And now a big gap here between Lane Michael and Jordan Ashburn in the number 3 spot. You can look in the rear view right there. and nobody behind Ashburn. So Ashburn kind of, got to ride his own pace and figure out a way to catch up with these guys and keep his eyes and ears open, make sure nobody's knocking on the door behind him. Both riders good and smooth through the creek crossing right there. And, like I said, good day to be an Ampro Yamaha rider so far. Boy, it's still early in this one, but, boy, these guys doing very, very well. And there is Ashburn still in that number 3 position. Can Lane Michael make a move for the lead? Can Jordan Ashburn catch up to Lane Michael and Stu Baylor out in front? Baylor, your leader. Michael in the number 2 spot. These guys, like I said, make no mistake. Yeah, hey, they're teammates. But, boy, when it comes down to it, look for these guys to battle for that win. There is Ashburn in the number 3 spot. No eyes on a 4th place rider out of that XC1 behind Ashburn, at least for the moment. Well, hey, GNCC held its 3rd round of the EMTB racing at the Hoosier GNCC, an event that I believe was just shy of a GNCC record as far as participants go. And how about this? Snagging his very first win in the pro class was pro rider Nick Mackey. He's been right there battling with Charlie Mullins early on in the season. We're actually going to have a shot of those guys coming through the finish line. You can see how close it is. But, boy, Charlie Mullins, he's human. He's human in the XC1 pro class. We'll get a shot of that right here. Of course, more than just the pro class out there, we have riders in the youth. And there it is right there on screen. Charlie Mullins getting passed around the outside by Nick Mackey. Nick Mackey making his name for himself. The Florida man taking the win at the Hoosier GNCC. We'll be right back. Well, the youth bikes took to the racetrack earlier today, and they didn't disappoint. As always, these young guys start Sunday mornings off bright and early, 8 a.m. You can still see the sleep in their eyes, but they're young. They've got all the energy in the world. They're talking shop before the race start. And as things got off and rolling, boy, good battle out front between Nick DeFeo and Cole Forbes. Watch it right here. They come around. They're jockeying for position, going handlebar to handlebar, wheel to wheel right there. And Forbes and Nick DeFeo, T-Rex, come together. Cole Forbes ended up coming out of that one alive. Nick DeFeo drawing the short end of the stick right there. Cole Forbes ended up getting out front and really kind of running away with it. This young man has been stellar this season. Absolute incredible ride by him. He, as a matter of fact, has won every race he's lined up for at the GNCC. Snagging the win here today at the Hoosier GNCC. Had a chance to catch up with Forbes after the race.
Yeah, it was a pretty good track. First 3 laps, I was out pretty far, like 30 seconds. And then somehow I crashed right in the creek, and then Thor caught right up to me. We were battling in the woods. And then coming to the end on the 2 last laps, somehow I pulled away.
Well, again, congratulations to Cole Forbes on the win. Thor Powell taking 2nd place, and T-Rex Nick DeFeo finishing out in the number 3 spot. And oh no, bad news for Josh Strang into the Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki pits. This is exactly what we saw just a couple of weeks ago. And Strang obviously very frustrated, telling the camera guy, "No, I got no part of this right now. I don't want to talk. Get the camera out of my face." And honestly, you can't blame the guy. He's very frustrated. We'll see if Strang's able to get back out on the racetrack. And here we go. This is what I was talking about. With these 2 guys, with Stu Baylor and Lane Michael running 1-2 as close as they were, depending on pit strategy, were they going to have to come in at the same time? That's exactly what you're seeing unfold. And if this does not speak to how good, how dialed these pro guys are, these pro crews, these pro teams, I should say, are at a pit stop, that right there, picture perfect. Get both riders in, get them fueled, get new goggles, get them rehydrated, and get them back out ripping and rolling. Putting on a clinic out front are these 2 guys. That was impressive by both the riders being patient with their team and the team making sure they got both guys taken care of. That was without a doubt all hands on deck. And Ben Kelly, Lane Michael sitting right there in the number 2 spot, right behind Stu Baylor right now. And there he is. That's what I was going to say. There is Jordan Ashburn, the number 3 Magna 1 Motorsports machine, sitting in that number 3 spot, still on that island by himself. We see Baylor on screen into some of the open section here just on the other side of the pro pits, with Lane Michael trailing there in the number 2 spot, getting in the gravel road a little bit right there, and off and rolling. I believe that is right at mile mark. Yeah, there it was, mile marker number 7 for these guys. So they're rolling right now. And can Jordan Ashburn catch up to the pace of these guys? It's been nuts. It's been nuts to watch the 2 AmPro riders out front controlling the pace of this one. There is Jordan Ashburn. So I think Ashburn actually putting a little bit, or catching up a little bit of time, making up a little bit of time on Lane Michael right now. But boy, still a long road to hoe if he wants a shot at it. And there is Stu Baylor getting the pit board. He says, hey, you're in front, but knock, knock on the door is your buddy, your teammate, the 523 Lane Michael, chomping at the bit, looking for an opportunity to get around. And he does. So Lane Michael now moves into the number 1 spot, so they flip-flop back and forth. I'm telling you, their teammates, make no mistake, Lane Michael, wants that XC win that has eluded him. Is today the day? I got to think, though, boy, if there's the one guy out there right now who's hot enough that you don't want him behind you, it's got to be Stu Baylor. But, boy, Lane Michael wasting no time. Now putting a little bit of a gap on Baylor. These guys were almost wheel to wheel. The cameras got time to pan back, and there is Baylor. A little bit of lap traffic, no problem. Lapped rider able to get out of the way and let Stu Baylor by. And we'll see how things shape up here. Lane Michael out in front, trying to stretch things out. Things are getting wild. It's a battle of the Blue Crew. Hoosier GNCC returns after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart.
Welcome back to GNCC here on MAVTV. Stu Baylor has regained the lead from Lane Michael. How many times have we said that today? These two guys just absolutely going back and forth, back and forth. Right now, Stu Baylor, the man in control. For how long, though? Can he hang on to it? We are getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Stu Baylor coming up the hill, and and Stu Baylor goes down. Able to get back on the machine quick. I don't mean to laugh, but hey, Stu, he's my buddy. I got to be honest, looking like a Ninja Turtle right there. He was getting some words of encouragement from, I believe that was Aiden Griffiths out of the 250B class, making sure he was okay. No fault, I think, to either rider, but heads-up play by Stu there, able to get back on the machine quick and stay in that lead. Meanwhile, hey, things have changed up. Ben Kelly now into the number 2 spot, and Lane Michael right there on screen falls to the number 3 position. So still solid ride, but boy, how about the push by Ben Kelly? Meanwhile, here at the finish line, Stu Baylor putting a show on for the fans. He said, you want it? There you go. Fantastic ride out of Stu Baylor today. That is now 4 wins in a row for Stu Baylor, and at a time early in the season when we thought there's no way he's going to be able to come back and be a contender. We're not even at the midway point of the season, and this man is a contender. We had a chance to catch up with Stu after the race.
We had a really big crash that lap with 4 to go. I think our pit lap, I had a massive crash and Lane got by, but yeah, there at the end, I just put my head down. I made a lot of mistakes. I think I got cleaned by 3 lappers in 1 lap, and then fell on my own once. So I was really struggling, and I think I was down to 7-second lead there going into the last lap, and I just had to focus, nail my marks, and that's what we did. And I think by the time we came to the finish, going on the white flag, we had 17, and kept the head down, nailing my marks, and pulled out a good enough lead there at the end to just ride my own race and take home another one.
Well, meanwhile, Ben Kelly turns it on late. What a charge by him late in this one. Was able to bring it in for a second place finish on the day. Had a chance to catch up with Kelly after today's race as well.
yeah, I was doing that, got around Grant and stuff, but hit neutral in the pits, getting a drink bottle and string got by me, so had to work to get by him. I had to work to get by a handful of guys, and by the time I did that, got into third, I was down like 45 seconds, but charged the whole race there in the middle and got lane, got into second, and I was catching Stu, catching him, but yeah, he was able to take a break there in the middle and then charge those last 2 laps. But I was dead, as you can hear. Gave it my all, and that's all I can ask for.
Well, a big congratulations to Stu Baylor on the win, and of course Ben Kelly on the hard-fought second-place finish. Got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of these two guys battling up front down to the last round, maybe when we're here for Ironman. Lane Michael finished in third. We had a chance to catch up with him.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, like I said, being up front's a huge advantage. When you get buried in the pack and the front couple guys get away, it's really hard to catch up. I know Ben did it today, but yeah, I don't know. We just need to keep getting good starts, put ourselves in good positions, stay off the ground. That's what I did today. I had one mistake, and that's when I kind of lost Stu. So yeah, just keep working forward, keep doing what we're doing. It's working, and just can't wait to try to keep this momentum going.
Taking a look at the Specialized race recap, it was the Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna of Jordan Ashburn grabbing that whole shot in that early lead. But boy, eventually, the Blue Crew, the Ampro Yamaha riders Stu Baylor and Lane Michael would find themselves pushing to the front and flip-flopping that lead back and forth. Both riders wanting the win, both riders needing the win. But of course, there could only be one, albeit they put on a fantastic show. It was chaos for both of them, going back and forth for the first place position. Stu Baylor, he was finding himself on the dirt a few times throughout the day. But as the race wore on, Stu would manage to get himself out in front of the pack and eventually come away with the win. But boy, solid ride for Lane Michael. One he's needed. Lane Michael, he knows he's a podium guy. We know he's a podium today guy, and today he put that together. Stu Baylor getting wild right there, rolling over on his back, able to get back on the machine quickly and maintain that lead and bring it home for his 4th win in a row, putting on a show for the fans as he always does. Can he keep it going? Can he make it 5 in a row? That is going to do it for us here. Thanks for watching the Hoosier GNCC here on MAVTV. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.